Hi all, welcome back to the universe of Swallowed Star. I have covered the cultivation levels until World Master as part of the last video. This time, I will be diving into the part 2 of the Swallowed Star cultivation levels. Make sure you have watched the part 1 video before this so that you have a better understanding. Without further ado, let's dive in. 7. Immortal/Undying. Immortal can be considered the lowest tier of a true great being. As the name implies, those who reach immortal level do not die of natural causes. If they are not killed, they will not die until the universe in which they dwell is destroyed. Immortals are fundamentally different from world masters, with bodies naturally capable of light-speed travel, and formed of immortal energy that allows them to manipulate their size at will. If a normal immortal focuses all of their strength in a single attack, they can completely destroy a planet. As their breakthrough is contingent on mastery of at least one of the original laws, their bodies literally contain law energy. Every immortal can be considered a master of at least the law they used to break through. They are granted the ability to use a law domain corresponding to the law they used to break through. As they increase their comprehension of the associated upper law, they can also infuse that law in their law domain, but this requires comprehension at least the equivalent of the 13th level of the Tong-Tian Bridge. Due to their immortal energy containing both their genetic energy and spirit energy, all immortals can perform and have an innate defense to soul attacks, making it incredibly difficult for a world master to damage them through soul attacks. Additionally, the fusion of life and soul imprints meant that if an immortal lost part of their body, they could distinctly sense that body part, even if it was taken tens of light years away. Their bodies, formed by immortal energy, could also be burned to amplify their strength 1,000-fold, aiding them in attacking or escaping. However, since the immortal energy contains their soul imprints, this was used only when necessary, otherwise they would weaken themselves too much. When a world master becomes an immortal, their world master world transforms into a god country. A god country serves as part of the foundation of an immortal's strength, and their evolution results the evolution of their god country. Obtaining a god country grants one the use of god country transmission to locations at which they have left imprints of their immortal energy. Breaking through to immortal depends on the life form. Normal humans can break through after fully comprehending a lower original law. Zerg race queens, on the other hand, can only break through after comprehending a lower original law as well as either law of time or law of space. When a cultivator becomes immortal, their body fundamentally changes to a divine body. At that point, the cultivator's soul begins to meld with the body, with every bit of spirit imprint fusing with their cells. This meant that it would be impossible to clearly see the cultivator's soul, so one would not be able to determine their original race. This change to a divine body meant that if an immortal's body was destroyed once, they could reform their body. When breaking through to immortal, the size of the cultivator's body is also a factor. During their transformation to a divine body, the law ocean corresponding to their original law, as well as the universe origin, provide divine power for the user to absorb to form their divine body. The absorption rate is limited by their body's surface area, and the maximum amount they can absorb is determined by the body's volume. Hence, larger life forms can absorb more divine power at a higher rate, creating a stronger divine body. For humans, the strength of the divine body they gain on breakthrough is dictated by their life gene level, law comprehension, strength, etc. When breaking through to immortal, normal humans with a life gene level of 1 can create a divine body with the strength of between 100 and 100,000 pinnacle world masters. When one becomes an immortal, their divine body is formed by immortal energy, which contains the energies of the original law they used to break through. This meant that if one broke through using law of earth, for example, it would be very difficult for them to study law of wind, unless they were previously recognized by wind law. The divine body will also serve as a reservoir to store divine power. While divine power can also be regenerated by cultivating, this is extremely slow unless precious treasures are used. As such, it's highly advised to try to absorb as much divine power as possible during the transformation, to create the strongest possible body. However, there is also a downside to having too large of a divine body. The bigger the divine body, the more inflexible it is, and if it is too massive, then the cultivator's flying speed will be much slower. Some special life forms are so big that it is difficult for it to move on its own. For example, World Tree. As an immortal reaches a certain level of strength, generally Immortal Marquis, they will obtain the true immortal body. At this level, their life and soul imprints are completely merged with their body. Every cell will contain soul imprints, allowing one to reform their body even if their body is annihilated. This brings them extremely close to true immortality, as even their body being completely destroyed will not kill them, if their divine power has not been destroyed. As a result, it is very difficult for world masters to kill immortals at this stage. Generally, they would require a special treasure that could destroy divine power. However, if one can destroy that divine power, the merger of body and soul results in a substantial loss of power if too much divine power is lost. An immortal with a strength equivalent to 100 world masters would be classified as an low immortal army lord. Strength equivalent to about 1,000 world masters would be classified as a low immortal marquis, whereas an immortal with a strength equivalent to 100.000 world masters would be considered an pinnacle immortal king, and an immortal with a strength equivalent to 10 million world masters would be considered an invincible immortal king. Invincible immortal kings are typically special life forms with law comprehension comparable to a pinnacle immortal king. There are also those who have trained in special inheritances or obtained the means to augment their life gene level. While there are many in the universe who could reach the level of limit immortal king, very few become invincible immortal kings. There are fewer invincible immortal kings than universe venerable. The weakest invincible immortal kings can survive encounters with universe venerable, while the strongest can actually kill them. Universe venerable / universe knight. Universe venerable is the next tier of cultivation beyond immortal. While immortals can be sorted into immortal army lord, immortal marquis, and immortal king, these are differences in power rather than in tier. As a result, a world master who breaks through to immortal can immediately become either an immortal general, immortal marquis, or an immortal king, but they cannot become a universe venerable, even if they have a life gene level high enough to match the power of a universe venerable. Some at this level can reach a spirit energy amplitude of 10,000. It is implied that the Devil's Voice God general inheritance would enable one who completed it to reach 10,000. Their attacks cause space maelstrom and are capable of destroying the fabric of space itself. Even the weakest universe venerable can completely destroy an area 10 million kilometers in diameter. Their understanding of the original laws is much higher than that of even invincible immortal kings. Universe venerable can easily defeat immortal army lords and immortal marquises, and unless the immortal king has significant amplification techniques or a high life gene level, they cannot escape a universe venerable. Universe venerable typically create pinnacle techniques and ultimate techniques, and are far superior with their use of the major techniques of the upper laws than immortals. There are two routes of becoming a universe venerable: comprehending any lower law and comprehending the law of space. Comprehending any lower law and comprehending the law of time. Universe venerable are thus divided into space venerable, who have mastered law of space, and time venerable, who have mastered law of time. Their divine body fundamentally changes, able to condense 100 times the volume of divine power that an immortal king can, and their divine power is 100 times as pure. With the additional increases in soul amplification and law comprehension, they are on a completely different level than immortal kings. When a typical immortal breaks through to universe venerable, then the original ocean corresponding to their upper law, with a diameter of around 100 kilometers, descends, transforming their god country and increasing their divine power 100-fold. The god country has transformed, and it is easy to use divine power create a divine power avatar. It's essentially a clone that can do tasks for you, however its fighting prowess is extremely low. Most often these avatars stay behind in the race or clan to deal with tasks and convey important information to the main body. The god country of powerful universe venerable can reach a diameter of 1 trillion kilometers. Divided into 4 levels mainly: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and universe overlord levels. Universe overlords were incredibly difficult to kill. When they quickly realized that situations were unfavorable, they would immediately attempt to escape, stall, or call for help. Their willpower makes it incredibly difficult for their soul to be controlled by universe masters. If someone attempted to kill them through soul attack and they couldn't defend against it, they would self-destruct. Due to the purity of their divine power, Even if someone was able to diminish their divine body, one would have to diminish it until only 1% remained in order to put them into a deep sleep. Their bodies are not much better at defense than those of advanced Universe Venerable, but due to their talents, Universe Overlords generally have 2 to 3 common arcana. They usually had armor and a weapon, though rarely soul-type or flying palace-type arcana. Even with equipment, they required high arcana armor to avoid dying in one move from a top Universe Overlord or Universe Master. While normal Universe Overlords achieve their status through genius talents, top Universe Overlords are those with higher life gene levels. Typically special life forms or ordinary life forms who have possessed one, though some may enhance life gene level through things like the 9-volume manual. Like Universe Overlords, they can be resurrected by true gods, making them incredibly valuable to a race or alliance. Normally, the number of top Universe Overlords is equal to the number of Universe Masters within the race or alliance. However, because humans are ordinary life forms, they only had 4 top Universe Overlords despite having over 10 Universe Masters. Quasi-Universe Masters are special Universe Venerable that only exist in Holy Lands lacking the power in their Holy Land Universe origins to sustain larger numbers of Universe Masters. These Universe Venerable have completed the original law comprehension necessary to become a Universe Master, but could not break through since they could not receive any divine power from the Holy Land Universe origin. As residents of a Holy Land, they have typically lived for an incredibly long time, some even surpassing 100 reincarnation eras, and have extremely powerful willpower. Venerable Blue Blood was a quasi-universe master. The space Venerable can perfectly integrate into space fluctuations and reappear in a distant place without causing any special changes. A space distortion by waving their hand can cause space turbulence. Their teleportation distance is thousands of light years without causing space fluctuations. Further distances may cause noticeable space distortions. They can sense in all direction at the same time with a radius of more than 10 light years. Universe Venerable can affect the space fluctuations within 1 light year. As such, one could no longer teleport or use other aspects of the law of space, unless they were able to overpower the other person in terms of controlling space fluctuations. Burning a little divine power allows Universe Venerable to interfere with space fluctuations more than 10 light years away. 9. Universe Master / Void Gold Master. Universe Master is the next tier of cultivation beyond Universe Venerable. While Universe Venerable can be sorted into Beginner, Intermediate, and Advanced Venerable, as well as Universe Overlord and Top Universe Overlord, these are differences in power rather than tier. As a result, while an Immortal who breaks through to Universe Venerable can immediately become a Universe Overlord or Top Universe Overlord, they cannot become a Universe Master, even if they have reached the perfect life gene level. The strongest top Universe Overlords can survive a fight with a Universe Master if they have adequate arcana, but defeating a Universe Master is likely impossible. A Universe Master can alone make a race a powerful race, while the pinnacle races have multiple Universe Masters. Their divine body fundamentally changes, able to condense 100 times the divine power of a Universe Venerable with a life gene level of 100, and having 100 times the quality of divine power. As such, the quantity of a level 1 Universe Master's divine power is equivalent to that of a Universe Venerable with a life gene level of 10,000. With the additional increases in law comprehension and consciousness, they are on a completely different level than Universe Venerable under Universe Overlord, and are generally able to easily defeat even Universe Overlords and Top Universe Overlords. Their law comprehension allows them to create incredible techniques. Even ordinary Universe Masters have at least created a Universe Master Ultimate technique. With their incredible divine bodies and divine power, their willpower is also extraordinary. It is impossible for an ordinary being to have willpower that could rival a Universe Master. As Universe Masters have mastered Law of Time and Law of Space, they exist outside of time and space, granting them several benefits. They can exceed the life gene limits placed on ordinary life forms, allowing even non-special life form Universe Masters to exceed the life gene level of 100. After surpassing this limit, they gradually increase in size as their life gene level increases. They are able to perform time and space reversal to resurrect the dead, and can even see possible futures. If they wish it, they can make themselves undetectable by those below Universe Master, and they can seize control of the time and space of an area. With their power and importance to their race, their weakest equipment is generally at least high arcana. Their disciples are typically Universe Venerable, and they traverse Universe Ocean for valuables and to increase their combat experience. They are pillars to powerful organizations in the original universe and can even garner some fame in Universe Ocean. There are two ways of becoming a Universe Master: comprehending both the law of space and law of time and any lower law, perfectly fusing any lower and upper law. For example, the beast gods follow this path. When a Universe Venerable breaks through to become a Universe Master, then the original ocean with a diameter of tens of billions of kilometers descends, transforming their god country and increasing their divine power 100-fold. As such, they have transcended space and time and became a Universe Master. Within a certain space around them, they can stop the original law's operation. However, as powerful as they are, they still cannot detect their operation. A singular blow from a Universe Master can make a top Universe Overlord lose 10% of their divine body. Their body can expand and shrink at a pace faster than the speed of light. Their life gene level can surpass the ordinary life form limit of 100 and theoretically reach the perfect life gene level of 10,081. Normally, they can reach a life gene level of about 1,000. It is very difficult for them to reach 2,000 to 3,000, and it is extremely difficult to reach 5,000. As they improve their life gene level, their divine bodies can also increase in size. Divided into 6 levels: elementary, ordinary, pinnacle, top tier, apex, and peak levels. Peak level Universe Master has the strongest combat power allowed in the original universe. True gods are limited to this level. Due to the strength of their bodies and arcana, they cannot truly damage true gods even in the original universe. Strength equivalent to 10 top tier 5 Universe Masters or more than 10 tier 4 Universe Masters. They can kill a top tier 3 Universe Master with one attack, even if they used maximum resistance. They will be able to interact with space and time, can see some past and future possibilities, easily obtain messages from hundreds of millions of light years away, teleport up to 1 million light years away, sense all space fluctuations within a 10 million light year area, easily expand and shrink their divine body, increase their gene level past the normal limit of 100 times, can be raised all the way up to 10,081 times. 10081 times represents the limit within the original universe, yet can be broken. Should the limit be broken, an alternate way to become a true god opens up. Universe Masters are capable of reversing space and time in order to, for example, resurrect a deceased person. Importantly, even beast gods, who use fusion laws to break through to Universe Master, are capable of performing this technique, despite not necessarily fully comprehending either law of time or law of space, depending on their fusion law. However, as this interferes with causality, there are 2 types of punishment that need to be borne for this. Punishment for altering causality. This would normally affect whatever actually alters the causality. For example, if a person is resurrected by a Universe Master, then that person itself is the cause for the change in causality and will bear that punishment. As the punishment is proportional to the thing altered, this would kill the person again. The punishment for altering causality can, however, also be borne by the Universe Master. Resurrecting an immortal army lord oftentimes is just a drop in the bucket for them. Treasures could theoretically also be revived. However, as treasures themselves require an astronomical amount of energy to be destroyed, the punishment received for bringing back a treasures is ginormous. As such, typically, no one will bring back a treasure, as it's easier to obtain one than bear the punishment. The second punishment is the punishment of passage. As time has passed between the person dying and the day where they are revived, that time passage will need to be borne by the body resurrected. This punishment cannot be borne by the Universe Master. This could mean that a planetary level resurrected after 1 million years will experience those 1 million years immediately, thus have exhausted his lifespan and die. The body will then rot and their soul will be dispersed. As immortals and above no longer have a lifespan means only the lower ranks are affected by this punishment. 10. True God. True God is the next tier of cultivation beyond Universe Master, and is considered a threshold for great beings in the ancient civilization. While Universe Masters can be sorted from levels 1 through 6, these are differences in power rather than tier. As a result, while a Universe Venerable who breaks through to Universe Master can immediately be a Universe Master level for 5, or even 6, depending on their arcana, life gene level, and techniques, they cannot become a true god. The strongest universe masters can preserve their lives in a fight with a true god in the original universe, but only the absolute strongest universe masters with exceptional techniques and Xeon arcana can preserve their lives in a fight with a true god in Universe Ocean. True gods have some benefits due to fueling their power through their miniature universe origin. They can exceed the speed limit of the original universe, resisting the pull to the dark universe and reaching 1 million times light speed. Their teleportation was far superior to that of universe masters, since they could sense further out by using their miniature universe origin. This sensory ability extended to navigation as well, enabling them to inspect areas that universe masters could only observe with their 5 senses. With their power, they are able to use time and space reversal to even resurrect top universe overlords. Their comprehension allows them to properly use Xeon arcana, giving them incredible combat strength, and to fully use the abilities of Pinnacle arcana. Since they are no longer tied to the original universe origin, they can survive the end of their original universe, and their miniature universe can house other life forms to enable them to survive as well. While they typically live in their own miniature universe after their original universe reincarnation era ends, they can continue to survive until the end of 3 reincarnation eras, even if their miniature universe has been destroyed, whereas universe masters can only do so by tying their life origin to a true god's miniature universe. With their mastery of time and space laws, they can create areas in which time passes 10,000 times faster than the outside world, although that consumes the miniature universe origin, so it is used sparingly. Despite these benefits, they also have drawbacks. They are no longer favored by the original universe, so any techniques or talents bestowed upon them by the original universe disappear, such as multiple bodies. This means that when a universe master with multiple bodies becomes a true god, it is possible for them to lose large amounts of divine power if their original body did not have as much divine power as their additional bodies. They are heavily suppressed by the origin will of the original universe if they fight universe masters, only able to release divine power the equivalent of a universe master with the perfect life gene level, and only able to release combat strength equal to a top-tier universe master level 6 while in the original universe. Their ability to ensure that their orders are strictly enforced, ignoring even the universe origin laws, disappears when fighting universe masters within the original universe, and if they did kill a universe master, they would be severely punished, with even their divine body being badly injured. Even in Universe Ocean, the universe origin laws would not retreat, and they could only release divine power equal to a universe master with the perfect life gene level. Additionally, unlike previous breakthroughs such as to Universe Master, the source of the fighter's divine power is their miniature universe, rather than the original universe, so the quantity of their divine power is limited. Finally, since their foundation is their miniature universe origin, damage to their miniature universe or its origin will impact their improvement. If their miniature universe is destroyed, they are limited to True God level 8 combat power and will not be able to break through to Void True God. When someone breaks through, the original universe will protect that person and prevent any form of interruption. The original universe also helps them change their God country into a miniature universe. When one breaks through to True God, their divine body will be amplified by 100 times, similar to the changes when one breaks through to Universe Venerable and Universe Master. There are 2 ways of breaking through to True God: the Law Path and the Divine Power Path. Law Path. The Law Path is achieved by comprehending the original laws to an extreme level and not having followed the Divine Power Path. The vast majority of True Gods break through using this path. Your God country will then transform into a miniature universe and you will have become a true God. When one becomes a true God through this path, they use the chaos energy of their miniature universe to supply their divine body with divine power, becoming true gods with a life gene level of 10,000. While inferior to the divine power path, following the law path does not prevent one from breaking through to Void True God. Divine Power Path. The divine power path is much more difficult than the law path, but also more rewarding. However, if started, it must be completed. One can no longer switch. It's achieved by surpassing the perfect life gene level in the original universe of 10,081. If this is surpassed, one can transform their God country into a miniature universe, becoming a true God. Universe masters who follow the divine power path and become a true god with a life gene level under 30,000 will not experience a substantial change in their power versus following the law path. Following the divine power path is broken into 4 levels. The first level is a life gene level of 30,000 to 60,000. The second level is 60,000 to 90,000. The third level is 90,000 to almost 100,000. And the fourth level is the ultimate life gene level of 100,000. The difficulty of following this path was such that out of the previous 192 Duandong River heirs, only 2 had reached the third level, and both required luck. The resulting strength will depend on the life gene level achieved. At the first level, the divine body is 10 times taller, with a limit of 1 million kilometers, resulting in their divine power being multiplied by 1,000, 10 times 10 times 10 for volume. At the second level, the divine body is 1,000 times taller, with a limit of 100 million kilometers, and the divine power is multiplied by 1 billion. At the third level, the divine body is theoretically unlimited and is called the infinite divine body. This is limited by the ability to consume divine power to become larger. The Wu Kingdom got around this by preparing a large number of valuables to store divine power for those who reached this level, so they could form large divine bodies. At the fourth level, the divine body is theoretically unlimited with unlimited divine power with the same limitations as the third level while in the original universe, but with the new ability of intangible and formless, allowing the user to emit the energies of anything at their level or below. This body is called the perfect divine body. Once he became a true god and only had his earthling body, it could be transformed into an ocean with a diameter of slightly more than 2 light years. To reach its former size, his miniature universe would have to swallow and consume enough divine power. The original universe would no longer provide any energy to a true god. The true advantages of this body over the infinite divine body become apparent after one breakthrough to void true god and reaches the continent of origin, as it is 5 times the size of the infinite divine body, meaning it has 125 times the divine power. For one to reach the power necessary to reach the divine power limits of each level, they will require the means to accumulate that volume of power. At lower levels, one can do this with just their miniature universe, but at the higher levels, the ancient civilizations would use valuables to store the divine power necessary to fuel the new divine body. A peak-level true god has strength equivalent to 1,000 Tier 4 universe masters. Once a universe master becomes a true god, they will return to their origin like a baby, returning to their real bodies. Flesh and blood life forms would still be flesh and blood, and metal life forms would still be metal. Compared to immortals, the body would no longer contain life imprints, and the divine power would no longer contain soul imprints. The soul will be stored in the true god's heart, while one's own energy will become the body. As such, one's strength is no longer lowered by losing divine power. Additionally, due to multiple bodies being a gift from the original universe, one loses their extra bodies when breaking through to true god. During the breakthrough, those extra bodies are disintegrated to help form the core, the true god's heart. Within that space is the soul of the cultivator, which also connects to their miniature universe. No matter how far a cultivator is from their miniature universe, they can transfer the universe's energies to their true god's heart. True gods, void true gods, and eternal true gods all have a true god's heart, and as they get stronger, the heart does as well. As a true god's lifespan is limited, their miniature universe will also only be able to last 3 reincarnation eras before collapsing. Once a miniature universe collapses, all life whose origin still belongs to that miniature universe will instantaneously die. 11. Void True God. Void True God is the next tier of cultivation beyond True God. While True Gods can be sorted from levels 7 through 10, these are differences in power rather than tier. As a result, while a universe master who breaks through to True God can immediately be a True God level 8 or 9 depending on their arcana and techniques, they cannot become a Void True God. The strongest True Gods can perform attacks at a Void True God level, but they are unable to defeat one. Even if a True God was capable of performing attacks at the level of a Void True God, they would still be unable to create a void space with a single thought, unless they had an item that could do so, and they would not be able to transcend reincarnation without breaking through to the next tier. When a True God's cultivation reaches this level, they are capable of creating a void space with a single thought. When a True God breaks through to this level, their divine power evolves by 100 times, similar to the breakthroughs to Universe Venerable, Universe Master, and True God. There is a huge gap between True Gods and Void True Gods. Void True Gods have a much deeper understanding of the universe, and based on their law comprehension, they can completely control the void space. This is different from a true God, who is permitted to give orders that the original universe can choose to allow to be strictly enforced or not. An example is true gods being unable to rely on their orders being followed when they fought universe masters in the original universe. A void true god has total control of the void space. The origin could not strip this ability. True gods couldn't use their abilities to slaughter universe masters, but void true gods could form a void space and slaughter true gods and universe masters. Void true god can survive through a reincarnation era. Void true god's miniature universe Holy Land can store life forms and planets to help them survive through infinite reincarnation eras, barring any disaster falling upon the miniature universe. They can also sustain a know of true gods in their Holy Land. In order for universe masters to break through, a part of the Holy Land origin needs to be shared with them. Void true god can easily kill true god. Limit void true gods can destroy the miniature universes of true gods. Mostly void true god Holy Land diameter is 2 to 5 billion light-years, but the full range is 1 to 10 billion light-years. There are 2 ways to break through to become a void true god. Technique level. If a true god can create a top-tier true god level 10 technique, they can become a void true god. It is not enough to be able to release power at top-tier true god level 10 through the use of a Xeon Arcana. They must be able to create techniques at that level. When a true god can create techniques at that level, they can choose to either break through and be forced to transcend reincarnation if they are in the original universe or universe ocean, or remain a true god and continue cultivating. Law method. The easiest way to break through to void true god is to increase one's comprehension of each of the 10 basic original laws to an extreme so he could use them to condense a void space. After breaking through, the cultivator evolves their miniature universe, then uses the universe's power to condense a more powerful divine body. An ultimate level void true god can destroy the miniature universe of a true god. 12. Eternal true god. Eternal true god is the next tier of cultivation beyond void true god. While true gods of void space can be sorted from levels 11 through 13, these are differences in power rather than tier. As a result, while a true god who breaks through to void true god can immediately be a void true god level 11 or 12, the only way they can break through to eternal true god is if they have also fully comprehended an origin mystery of the universe. The vast majority of true gods have no reason to postpone their breakthrough to void true god, so Luo Feng is the only one we know who has done so. Reached by understanding the origin mysteries of the universe. Eternal true gods can similarly survive beyond the 3 reincarnations as well as store life forms in their miniature universes. Compared to true gods and true gods of void space, eternal true gods can house many more life forms in their miniature universes. The miniature universe of an eternal true god can easily allow its residents to break through to the true god level with little cost to the eternal true god, as their miniature universe would recover from the cost quickly. Of course, they would have to pay more of a cost to allow one of their residents to break through to void true god. However, once they break through, they would be able to rely on themselves to transcend reincarnation, and the eternal true god would slowly be able to recover the cost. The lowest level miniature universe of an eternal true god has a diameter of 10 billion light-years. According to legend, an absolutely perfect miniature universe of an eternal true god can have the diameter of 100 billion light-years. Therefore, the miniature universes of eternal true gods range between 10 and 100 billion light-years in diameter. As a void true god improves in power, increasing their comprehension, one day they would reach the limit on comprehending the evolution of the entire universe. Then they could create a miniature universe with one thought. This ability to create a miniature universe with a single thought is the ability of an eternal true god. When a void true god breaks through to this level, their divine power evolves by 100 times, similar to the breakthrough to void true god, universe master, and universe venerable. Eternal true gods could easily suppress true gods of void space with this ability, but it was very difficult to kill one solely with the force of the created universe. Limit eternal true gods could destroy the miniature universes of true gods of void space, and the world of Jin had no record of anyone destroying the miniature universes of eternal true gods. The size of their miniature universe, that arose from their breakthrough to true god, is between 10 billion and 100 billion light-years. On the continent of origin, eternal true gods are at most given a national surname, such as Wu. Generally, They are generals who lead a group or are core members of a city, belonging to the elite of a god kingdom. The size of their divine body is determined by their life gene level, body refining techniques, etc., but it is also limited by the stability of the continent of origin. Eternal true gods who have an infinite divine body are limited to 3.6 billion kilometers in height, while those with a perfect divine body are limited to 18 billion kilometers. One breaks through to eternal true God by understanding the origin mysteries of the universe. E.g., Luo Feng comprehended the origin of life and death. If a cultivator can create a true God level 14 technique, then they can become an eternal true God. This is incredibly difficult. Even on the continent of origin, where most beings reach true God upon maturation, have incredible bloodlines, and can cultivate with the aid of special materials, only 1 in a billion can become eternal true gods, divided into 10 sublevels. This are all I wanted to cover as part of part 2. Since this is a lot of information, I have decided to do the remaining levels in the next part. Thank you.